Here. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from February 3rd.
Move to approve the minutes of February 3rd.
For a second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. Is there anybody here who wishes to address the planning commission on a non-agenda item?
Sorry.
That's all right. We're up to your report. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
To my report, yeah, for the next meeting, we had talked, we had talked about talking about the survey at the next meeting, but the Conservation Commission has asked that we look at conservation development and subdivision regulations, and basically what that is it's cluster. It's a new fangled planning term for cluster. They call it conservation development now. But it's kind of, the same thing they've been doing since the 1970s. They take, a piece of property, they take all of the environmental constraints, do overlay mapping, take the bad areas out, and say the rest of it you can build your subdivision. So that's really what it is, but the Conservation Commission really wants stronger standards in our subdivision regulations. So they talked to town council into allocating $5,000 to hire Tony Lackwitz, who's a planner, to develop a conservation development standards to put in our subdivision regulations. So Tony has done that, and he sent me a copy of it, and so I forwarded it to the Conservation Commission, and we'd like to have a joint meeting, and the only day that Tony can have the joint meeting is March 3rd, our next meeting. So I'd like to take that meeting to talk about that and have kind of a joint meeting with the Conservation Commission. So because it's fairly voluminous, I have it on email. I think I'm going to send it to everybody by email probably tomorrow or tonight when I get done here, so that you can review it and have enough time to look at it. So you'll still get a packet next Friday, but it will probably just be minutes in the agenda. So this will be the core item that's on the agenda.
Anything in regards to Fort Getty, building facilities?
The town council made a decision last night on the wind energy committee, on the wind energy. They voted to endorse a wind turbine at Taylor Point and to apply for the appropriate grants to get that started. They do anticipate having that as a referendum question. I don't know when they're going to have it, whether it's going to be a special referendum or whether it's going to be on the November ballot. The other committees have not met since our last meeting.
We have a tree meeting during since our last meeting, Richard?
We did last night.
Okay.
Just a second. Tell you what we talked about. A question came up of historic trees and what can they do about them. It's unclear if one's on private property or it seems as though if one's on private property.
Dick, I can't hear you. Can you speak up?
I can. They're about to do a tree list, and the new business is that they want to do a survey of the 120 trees they planted over the last 10 years. And of the 40 trees planted over the last 5 years, they want to do a survey. They want to prune, fertilize, mulch, do maintenance, see if they need any trimming, see if they're still alive. And they're looking at May as a possibility and looking for volunteers if it's a birthday. And April 30th looks to be Arbor Day. And they have a historic elm that they're looking to transplant, and they have a few sites, but nothing's been determined. So I think that was the main thing. And then in June, actually this would be, I think, important for the community in the island, is they want to do a workshop on the Asian longhorn beetle, which pretty much, it decimated the trees in Worcester a number of years ago, and it travels, it came here through China, and through pellets from China. And now it's spread from Worcester through firewood, and so we were going to bring in the USDA and the Rhode Island Tree Council to do a presentation in June to people on the island, how they could recognize it. They've got a show and tell, how they can recognize it, what they can do about it, who to report it to, and then to promote buy local and burn local, because a lot of the firewood coming in from other areas is what could bring it in. And you know, if it spreads, the only option is to cut the trees down and mulch them, and then burn them. That's it.
Thanks, Richard. Okay, we're on to either old business or new business. We can start with your application unless you want to wait for Mike.
Yeah, sure, we'll start with it. I don't know if he's going to show up or not.
Otherwise, we could spend a half hour on our other item. So I'll leave it up to you. Want to move in?
Yeah, let's move that.
Okay.
Motion.
No. No, since our applicants are here, and the rest of our business has to do with just the board. We're going to let these guys go first, and so we'll take new business, and the applicant is Balance Sport and Fitness for they're here before us for a development plan review for their business, which are going to operate at 16 Douglas Street. And I think it's appropriate. Lisa, do you want to introduce what's taken place from day one up to now for the benefit of the person?
I've been working with Patrick and Jason Vieira, the applicants. What they're doing is occupying the existing building at 16 Douglas Street. It was formerly, as I said, the Inaco Portage building. It's been occupied by various businesses over the last, I want to say, 10 years. I don't remember when it ceased being a Portage building, but I know there was a period of time where it was vacant also. And so we're dealing with an existing building which does not meet the side yard setbacks currently. It's, I want to say, difficultly placed on the site as it is. So as you can see from the site plan, there's not a whole lot of flexibility in terms of where to place the parking because the building is already there. There's an existing loading dock that they're going to remove and put in 8 spaces. I've met with both of them several times to kind of go over it and as to what's required. My goal personally was to get the parking not necessarily off the street, but to have the parking on site such that it doesn't back out onto either of the streets. It's a corner lot. It's a very heavily traveled area between the school and the library. It's kind of a pass-through zone for both of those, and we really don't want to encourage cars backing out. So the less busy road is Douglas Street, so it turns out that that was able to accommodate the parking even though it's in front of the building right there. So we'll require a variance for the location of the parking because it's not behind the building, as well as the side yard setback. It is scheduled for zoning next week. I don't know if you want to say anything else about the project. I should also say, I'm sorry, before you start, the TRC did meet yesterday. I handed out a memorandum. Going forward, we will try to schedule them so that we can get the minutes in the packet for the applications. It was just a scheduling snafu with me, so I apologize for not getting them to you until tonight. But the issues that were discussed at the meeting were the parking. The applicant did agree to put 2